A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This was published in London, England in the 1840s and is considered to be a ghost story more than anything else. And although it was published way back in the 1840s, it's still popular today, not just as a ghost story, but as a moral story. For you see, it began many, many, many years ago in London. And in London, people walked through cobblestone streets. They dealt with the fog. They dealt with all sorts of hindrances that may have gotten in their way. And these hindrances included not only the cold and the fog, but also as well mysteries. For on this night, which was Christmas Eve, Ebenezer Scrooge, known to be a tight, miserly, cruel, non-compassionate individual, at his work barely gave Bob Cratchit, one of his employees, the night off to be with his family, to enjoy a wonderful Christmas meal together. Bob also had a son who was confined to crutches named Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim was the exact opposite of Ebenezer Scrooge. He was compassionate, loving, optimistic, in fact. However, on this cold, blustery night, this foggy night, Ebenezer Scrooge went home, went to bed. And then shortly after he went to bed, there was the rattling of chains. There was the appearance of something far from alive. It was in fact the ghost of Jacob Marley. Jacob Marley, who was confined to walk the earth in chains as a spirit for all his dastardly, miserly deeds. And on this night, he warned Ebenezer Scrooge to change his ways, lest he walk the earth in chains forever in the afterlife. Ebenezer, shaken by this revelation, went back to bed, dozing off. And then at the strike of one, appeared the first ghost, the ghost of Christmas past. And this ghost of Christmas past took Ebenezer on a journey. Gently taking his hand, they both melted through the walls of Ebenezer's home. And Ebenezer had a journey into his past, which initially was joyous, which initially was loving. However, due to mistreatment, due to many, many heartaches Ebenezer had to endure, he halted. Actually, Belle, his fiancée, halted their impending marriage, which again made him crueler, hurt, weighed heavily on his heart. And then suddenly Ebenezer found himself back in bed again, near and close to his pillows for comfort. Then suddenly, before he knew it, there was again another ghost. This ghost was the ghost of Christmas present, and this ghost, gently taking Ebenezer's hand, took him on a journey through the four walls of his home. Flying high overhead, Ebenezer observed Bob Cratchit and Tiny Tim with all his great humility and gratitude. This moved Ebenezer somewhat. And then, his head reeling, he found himself back in bed, only moments later to be taken on a third journey. This journey being the ghost of Christmas future, the ghost of Christmas yet to come. And as this ghost materialized in Ebenezer's bedroom, gently taking his hand, they flew off through the four walls and on a third journey, which shook Ebenezer to his core, for he observed a happy, a joyous London where people rejoiced, danced, sang because someone had passed. And Ebenezer, curious, asking the ghost of Christmas future who had passed, this ghost took Ebenezer to the cemetery. They flew through the cold and through the fog, the wintry fog, landing near a headstone. And at this headstone, Ebenezer knelt to read the name of this person that everyone was joyously celebrating their passing. And what did it say? Ebenezer Scrooge. Shocked, hurt, dismayed, his whole world spinning, he found himself back in bed once again. And because of this little journey, he found himself, of the three ghosts, he found himself enlightened. He found himself on a journey that consisted of compassion, love, giving, and generosity.